guest received these beautiful earrings and necklace from her late husband as a Christmas gift. It's a Renaissance Revival 18-karat gold necklace adorned with very delicate enameling. Rubies fluorescent like flashlights. They are Cobachan and Burmese. The styles evoke the Italian Renaissance. Its maker was Carlo Giuliano.
This piece is unsigned, but in terms of the hand that made it, it's signed all over the place.
He was born in Naples in 1831. He was a master in both execution and design work. Royal figures like Queen Victoria love his work. He worked for famous jewelers and later opened his own shop. At auction,
Fair retail price is between $65,000 and $85,000.
Oh my goodness.
the insurance value of this jewelry would be $120,000. Great-great-grandfather of the guest, Barbara Marder, completed this needlework while attending St. Joseph Academy in Emmitsburg. She received this premium for her work on July 3, 1822.
St. Joseph's Academy, this premium is awarded to Miss Barbara Marder for success and improvement.
Elizabeth Seton founded the school in 1774 after being widowed at 28 with 5 children. She initially taught in Baltimore. She moved to Emmitsburg, found a benefactor, and established the school at St. Joseph's House, which later became St. Joseph's College. Seton Hall University is named after Elizabeth Seton. The needlework depicts the school and Emmitsburg. It was made around 1821 to 1822. It's silk on silk. About 100 of these needleworks were made, and only 30 of them still exist today. Scholars suggest that students did the embroidery, while teachers worked on the background. It's folk art and a family piece, and not for sale, so insurance value would be for...
I think today what we're going to do is place an insurance valuation on this of $50,000.
Golly, that's amazing.
This badge, with its intricate design and historical significance, commemorates the establishment of the New York City Fire Department as a professional fire department on May 4, 1865. The face of the badge features the date May 4, 1865, along with a Latin motto that translates to, "If you're not going forward, you're going backwards." The badge's design and motto symbolize the department's commitment to progress and excellence in firefighting. A true piece of New York City firefighting history, this badge serves as a reminder of the department's evolution. At auction, this badge is estimated to fetch between $3,000 to $5,000.
Okay.
I don't even know what to say.
The guest brought H.F. Farney watercolor and gouache painting. She inherited it from her grandmother. Of course, the painting was done by N.F. Farney. He was an American artist born in France who was inspired by the American West. His painting captures Native American culture with detail and color. It's a valuable historical record of indigenous traditions. This artwork symbolizes respect for Native Americans, which includes cultural preservation and resilience. Overall, it's a tribute to a vanishing way of life. The appraiser values it at
$200,000 to $300,000. I don't even know what to say.
She brought in a painting by Peter Hurd titled Checking the Fence, commissioned by her father-in-law as an anniversary present for her mother-in-law. The artist, Peter Hurd, was a friend of the father-in-law who worked in Border Patrol. Hurd, born in Roswell, New Mexico in 1904, is known for his watercolors depicting the New Mexico landscape and cowboy culture. The painting has a cowboy checking the fence in the New Mexico field, capturing the essence of the region's beauty. The appraiser praised the artwork's well-preserved condition. The suggested price at the Santa Fe marketplace will surprise you.
This, I believe, an asking price and therefore the insurance value would probably be somewhere in the range of $25,000 at the current time.
Thank you.
Does that surprise you?
Yes.
Yes. Are you happily surprised?
Very happily surprised.
The guest inherited the folding sink from their father. The sink was salvaged from a disassembled World War II submarine and had been in the guest family garage for many years. The design of the sink is space-saving, which was crucial on submarines, where every inch of space was utilized for supplies and equipment.
This saves a lot of space.
So we're going to open this up and show everybody how that works. There we go.
And it's made of stainless steel with chrome or plated brass fittings. Folding sinks like this are still used in submarines today. The appraiser values the sink between $2,000 and $3,000, noting its functionality and unique design.
Retail value I would expect to see for this is between $2,000 and $3,000.
Wow. That's more than I would have expected.
This dress is believed to be a ghost dance dress, worn by members of the Ghost Dancer Society in the late 19th to early 20th century. Ghost dance was a spiritual movement among Native American tribes. The movement was met with fear by the U.S. government.
So they made it illegal for them to have these ghost dancer ceremonies.
While this dress is not believed to be from the original era of ghost dance, it is a beautifully crafted piece made in the traditional style, with meticulous attention to detail. Despite its age, this dress lacks signs of wear and shows no indications of being used in ceremonies. However, the craftsmanship and materials used indicate a high level of skill and dedication to authenticity. While it may not be an original ghost dance dress, its value lies in its cultural significance. At auction, this dress could fetch between $3,000 to $3,500. The guest bought this stoneware piece for $75 in 1980. The unique upside-down bird showcases the rarity and uniqueness of this folk art salt-glazed stoneware.
This piece is one of the most sculptural, most folky, most exciting pieces of pottery, of folk art that has come to us in years.
This sculpture is from Ohio and depicts two men by a stump alongside an adorable pig. We have this hollowed log in front of it. The gentleman's rifle is slightly damaged, but with his mustache, he looks great. The upside-down object can spark imagination, leading us to see it as deer or turkey. It dates from about 1865 to 1895. It's covered with brown slip and beautifully baked at temperatures between 2100 to 2200 degrees. The dots of blue and brown on the base are excellent. Being worthy and in excellent condition, its value at auction would be...
I think that this piece at auction could have an estimate of $10,000 to $15,000.
I can't believe it.
Acquired by the guest father in Hong Kong in 1947, these exquisite porcelain panels depict the 4 seasons of planting rice, a rare subject in Chinese art. The panels are set in Hongmu wood frames, often mistaken for teak, and showcase high-relief enamel decorations. Pink enamel color suggests a dating to the early 18th centuries, while the iron red design at the top indicates a late 18th to early 19th century style. However, due to the uneven quality of the iron red design, it's likely these panels were crafted in the early 20th century, possibly in the 1920s. The current Chinese art market, with a focus on collecting older pieces, has increased the value of 20th century items like these panels, now estimated at $40,000 to $60,000 at auction.
Okay. Take my breath away. I never would have dreamed. Never, ever. I thought maybe $3,000 or $4,000. Okay, wonderful.
These captivating portraits were drawn by John James Audubon in 1820, known for his exquisite bird illustrations. However, in this unique instance, Audubon created portraits of people.
And he drew them to make a little money so that he could continue drawing birds.
Aha.
He got about $5 a piece, or maybe $5 for both.
The subjects of these portraits are Eliza Lytle and General William Lytle, ancestors of the guest. Eliza was depicted in her 40s, though she sadly passed away shortly after the portrait was done, while the general went on to become a military man. John James Audubon, born in Haiti, came to America and ventured into portrait art before focusing on birds in the late 1820s. These pencil and charred portraits are a testament to Audubon's skills. If auctioned today, they could fetch between $80,000 and $120,000.
My goodness!
This guitar was handmade by the guest grandfather around 1927, during a craze for Hawaiian music in America. The guitar is a lap-style instrument with a unique body shape and headstock design that suggests European influence. Despite its simplicity, the guitar is a beautiful and playable instrument.
Does the barber pole inlay, And those little diamonds and dots in the neck are what you would normally see. And he made it out of the right kind of woods.
Handmade guitars were not uncommon in that area, but the quality and craftsmanship of this guitar are exceptional. The guitar bears the grandfather's name and the date 1927, along with the location Wisconsin, indicating its origin. The appraiser values the guitar at $3,000 for insurance purposes, considering its historical significance.
Really? I'm so surprised.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
We have a natural pearl necklace with a diamond clasp. It was given to the guest as a birthday gift for Christmas.
She had originally given it to my father, and my father gave it to me on Christmas Day, and I opened it. And in the letter, it had said that she had acquired them from my grandfather, so her husband, around 1934.
It's a graduated strand of natural pearls. It has a diamond clasp with a diamond of about 40 points. Then there are some tiny old European cut diamonds around the outside.
So in the whole clasp, there's maybe 60 points of diamonds.
The clasp is also set in platinum. This piece is dated 1915 through 1925. At auction, this necklace would sell for
most likely $2,000 to $3,000.
Wonderful. That's wonderful.
That really surprises me.
This guest family was invited to a family event in Appleton, Wisconsin in 1965, where George Ornstein was also present. As a party favor, George Ornstein handed out signed autographs of the Beatles. The Beatles are one of the greatest English bands, and George Ornstein was their manager. Her little sister Jean, who missed the event, wrote a letter to George Ornstein, who then sent this autograph signed by every member of the Beatles and a letter from himself. The picture was signed with the words, "For Jean." In 1965, the Beatles were everyone's heartthrob, so this letter was a treasured gift. Robert Whittaker, a renowned English photographer, took the photograph. This particular picture was part of a series of photos taken for their 1965 album cover. What was an adorable, kind gesture to little Jean in 1965 is now worth $10,000 to $15,000.
That really surprises me.
Guest presents a painting by Catherine Cherry. Cherry was a prominent early 20th century artist who received a gold medal at the 1904 St. Louis World's Fair. She transitioned from floral ceramics to formal training under notable artists and spent her career in St. Louis, frequently exhibiting her work.
Went into formal training where she studied under Richard Miller, who's also a St. Louis notable artist.
The guest had been following Cherry's work for a while and finally seized the opportunity to buy a piece from a local boutique gallery 10 years ago. The work is an oil-on-canvas board, likely painted in the 1920s, depicting a Gloucester harbor scene. It's unsigned, but with Cherry's characteristic style, and it has documentation on the back verifying its authenticity.
It's an impressionistic painting, and it's just beautifully executed and in wonderful condition.
Cherry's works focus on floral objects and her summer travels to Gloucester, where the scene was likely painted. The appraiser estimates the value of the painting to be $2,000 to $3,000 at auction.
Wow, that's excellent.
This jewelry suite was gifted as an unusual engagement present in 1851. It contained 2 bar pins, a large brooch, and a bracelet that was also a watch. This gift was so ahead of its time because not only was it unusual to give jewelry like this as an engagement present, it was also unusual to wear watches on the wrist. This Keywine Swiss watch/bracelet was made of solid gold, pearls, and blue guiche enamel. It must have cost a fortune in 1851. But how much did the appraiser think the set was worth now? The appraiser estimated the value of the set to be $15,000, to the owner's delight.
That's amazing.
This jukebox is an old Rockola model, 1428, manufactured in 1948. Acquired by the owner's father from the American Legion in 1971 for around $25. It plays 78 RPM records and holds 20 of them. Rockola, a significant competitor to Wurlitzer, was founded by David Rockola in 1927. The jukebox is noted for its fine condition, with authentic paint specs on the sides and a pristine interior. The appraiser provides a fair auction estimate for its current market value.
A fair auction estimate would be $2,000 to $3,000.
Really? We've had a lot of fun with it.
A clock was presented by the guest, who acquired it from his grandmother. Originally, the clock belonged to the guest's aunt, who received it as a gift on her birthday in 1941. The clock had an unusual dome shape and was very heavy. The appraiser identified it as made of alabaster with an uncommon format. The clock had interesting coloring, which resembled clouds in the sky. The guest explained the clock's operation. It tells time in a unique manner, with 15-minute intervals marked between the numerals. Moreover, the clock winds with a key at the top.
When it's fully wound, it would run for a full cycle of 8 days.
The appraiser estimated the worth of this unique item?
$150 and $650.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised at that.
The guest had inherited a painting from her mother, which was given to her by William Robinson Lee in the mid-1960s. The appraiser highlighted Lee's artistic journey, noting that he was born in 1866 in West Virginia and established a studio in New York. Earlier, he painted landscapes and portraits.
As far as being an artist, so he went away to study art in Baltimore.
However, the artist moved to the Southwest and focused on painting Indians. The specific painting depicted a Hopi maiden from 1917.
And this picture is of a Hopi maiden. You can tell that she's unmarried by the way she's dressed and also by the style of her hair.
The appraiser identified the signature W.R. Lee and the inscription NY for New York. It was made with an oil on cardboard, and the back bore the inscription Drying Corn. The appraiser noted Lee's reputation for his brilliant use of colors and light effects. How much would the piece be valued?
If this were in a retail gallery, I think the asking price could be as much as $75,000. This is really a little gem.
Wow.
Amazing. I can't believe it.
A doll passed down through the family. It's special because it was a gift to the guest's mom on her 8th birthday from a store in Dallas, Texas. The doll's happy face probably caught her eye, making it her favorite. It's a German bisque doll with big round eyes and a soft, fluffy wig. There are marks on the back saying it was made in Germany by John D. Kestner, which is important, and this is quite unusual. It's the largest googly they've ever produced, resembling what could be the original romper-style suit. Even though it doesn't have its original clothes, it's still nice with its papier-mâché body and good quality bisque. The doll is rare because of its size and type, which were popular long ago. The family remembers someone saying it might be worth $700, but they were surprised to find out it could actually be worth much, much more, like $12,000 to $13,000.
Amazing. I can't believe it.
The guest inherited the dress from their great aunt, who likely wore it during the Art Deco period of the 1920s and 1930s. The dress features intricate hand-sewn beadwork, including a palm tree motif with a waterfowl, showcasing the exotic and geometric themes typical of Art Deco design. The absence of a label makes it challenging to identify the dress's maker, but the craftsmanship suggests the work of a skilled artist. The appraiser advises against storing the dress in a box, recommends using acid-free tissue or a white cotton sheet to preserve it. The appraised value for insurance purposes is estimated at $1,500 to $2,000.
Excellent.
Well, that's great.
Thank you for bringing it.
These remarkable scrolls entered the guest family possession following the passing of a relative. Found rolled up in a box in the home, their beauty and significance were a delightful surprise. The scrolls depict Mr. Gu Chun Lee and Madam Lee, identified by inscriptions on the side as important figures. Both are ancestor portraits, as indicated by inscriptions stating their deceased status. These portraits, likely from the 1820s, blend the cultural heritage.
Qings were Manchurian people, whereas the Ming aristocracy were Han.
Symbolism abounds in the scrolls, with cranes symbolizing long life and typically associated with female aristocrats, and phoenixes representing the empress. These scrolls are meant to be displayed prominently on a wall and are valued at $15,000 to $20,000.
Really? Lovely.
This man inherited a watch worth $100,000 from his late grandfather. While getting rid of old stuff, his grandmother passed few things to him. These included a watch, his grandfather's pilot logbook, and his license. His grandfather was part of a U.S. Air Force Special Tuskegee program called Red Tails during World War II in 1941. The pilot logbook contained the private information that was otherwise confidential. The watch alone was worth $7,000 approximately. But with his grandfather's original license and pilot's logbook, the value raised up to $100,000. When the auctioneer heard the value of the belongings, he was filled with surprise and delight. Then,
an auction estimate that I would put on it preliminary would be $50,000 to $100,000.
Has been in the Guest family for generations, originating from their great-uncle, an attorney in Pennsylvania, who received it as payment from a client. The gargoyle is most likely Italian, evidenced by the loose modeling of the clay, vibrant colors, and the application of gold, typical of Italian pottery. It's part of the Renaissance revival movement, popular in Europe in the late 19th century. The gargoyle was likely made for home decoration. The appraiser recommends cleaning the gargoyle with a cotton swab. The gargoyle could fetch a retail price of at least $2,000 to $3,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
The owner's item is a tapestry, a mid-20th century piece from Aubusson, France, designed by Jean Lecotte, a prominent tapestry designer.
He is also a painter, also was a carpet designer, but he's really best known for his tapestry designs, his cartoons.
Acquired by her parents in the late 40s in France, it was woven by Pinton Freres, a leading Aubusson workshop. The tapestry, named Gobi, was inspired by a night scene in the Gobi Desert. It features stylized bamboo motifs and blue dots suggestive of stars. The item's clean and exceptional design is definitely praiseworthy, considering it's one of the best Lecotte tapestries. The estimated retail value for this piece is remarkable.
The retail value is $15,000 because it's really quite a remarkable tapestry.
Guest came with the Royal Copenhagen vase. He got it from his parents. They bought it in North Carolina in the mid-70s. The Guest parents were told it was Chinese. The appraiser said it's not Chinese, but it has a mark that is Royal Copenhagen. It has an artist's signature for Nude Keen. It's stylized KK, and it's dated back in the 30s. We have a stoneware pot. This one is Danish. It has these great colors, but also this wonderful giraffe motif. So, it's just this beautiful mid-20th century piece, appraised for $3,000. Vintage kidney belts and Harley-Davidson hats belonging to this Guest carry both historical significance and a touch of personalized flair. The Bucco belts, designed to protect motorcycle riders on rough roads, showcase intricate details and individual customization. The chief-themed belt associated with an Indian motorcycle stands out as particularly unique. From the 1940s or 1950s, these belts are estimated to fetch between $300 and $700 each at auction. Complementing the ensemble are Harley-Davidson hats, versatile symbols of motorcycle culture, anticipated to sell for $200 to $500 each. This collection, encompassing the spirit of riders from bygone eras, is estimated to be valued at a fairly good amount in total.
So if this were to sell at auction, I would say it would sell somewhere between $1,000 and $1,600.
Wonderful.
And you know what they say? Yeah. Accessories make the outfit.
Yes, they do. Absolutely.
This stunning Art Nouveau poster, a gift to the Guest from a family connection, is a masterpiece that is created for the Job Cigarette Rolling Paper Company in 1898. Much's design features his signature style, including a beautiful woman with an elaborate halo and cascading hair. This poster showcases Much's attention to detail, with the brand name subtly integrated into the design multiple times, including in the wallpaper pattern, the cigarette paper package, and the woman's brooch. Printed with a fugitive red color that often fades, this poster is a rare find in good condition. This Mucha poster remains highly desirable among collectors of Art Nouveau, with an estimated auction value between $7,000 and $10,000, potentially higher if in better condition.
Wow, that's very nice.
I always see people that say, I can't believe it, but I can't believe it, but it's wonderful.
Our Guest bought this stunning piece, a Dame Nancy vase, which holds a rich history. She inherited it from her mother, who purchased it 60 to 65 years ago at an auction for under $200. The appraiser reveals the hidden signature on the bottom.
That tells us that this is a dome piece from France.
The Dame Nancy vase is crafted in the late 19th to early 20th century. Originally known for the usage of household items, the Dame brothers transitioned into creating exquisite art glass like this vase. The piece features intricate acid-cut floral designs, gilding, and enamel work. Standing at an impressive 25 inches tall, this sunshine yellow vase is considered monumental. Its rarity and craftsmanship value it at $18,000 to $25,000, with the higher end representing its retail value.
I always see people that say, I can't believe it, but I can't believe it, but it's wonderful.
Here we have a childhood portrait of this guest ancestor from the 1840s. The painter of this piece is unknown, as paintings like these were usually done by traveling painters. But what we do know for sure is that the family of this little child was wealthy. In those days, paying for portraits like this was a luxury. The child's smug look, the silver rattle in his hand, and the giant silver medallion around his neck further confirms the family's affluence. The appraiser valued this original portrait at $8,000 to $12,000. But for insurance, he estimated that the piece could be insured for $12,000 to $20,000.
Now.
Steve, oh my heavens. That's amazing.
A teapot was presented by the guest, acquired from her aunt, who had received it as a gift from her neighborhood. The appraiser identified the teapot as a piece by the Gorham Company, stamped with a date code indicating it was made in 1886. It was made of mixed metals like copper with silver and exhibited scenes influenced by an aesthetic movement in Japanese art technique.
Had a technique called shibayama, which was a mixture of bronze with other metals.
The piece was an extraordinary and rare find. It also had an unusual top with a silver finial and insulators on the side to keep the handle from getting hot.
Because of the influence of Japanese art on this. Japan was a closed society until the 1860s, when Commodore Perry forced them to open their borders.
However, the teapot's condition was not ideal. The appraiser estimated its value to be
$3,000 to $5,000 range. Now.
Steve, oh my heavens. That's amazing.
The guest brought a Garcia & Company humidor to the show, which she inherited from her parents. A Garcia & Company humidor is a cigar storage box. It was invented by Angel Garcia, a renowned craftsman in the field of cigar accessories. Unique features include a specialized lining for humidity regulation, such as a hygrometer for monitoring humidity levels. The humidor also has a secure seal to prevent air leakage, preserving the flavor, aroma, and texture of cigars.
I can only imagine the smell, the wonderful smell you got when you opened up the back and the smell of these fresh cigars would come out.
Symbolically, it represents craftsmanship and appreciation for cigars. The appraiser values it at
$4,000 to $6,000.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
The next item is a chandelier, probably made in 1900. The guest mother bought it for $1.50 in 1964. The chandelier is English and made of copper in the arts and crafts style. The cutout panels and rivets on the corners are indicative of an English style. It was made by Liberty & Company. The thickness of copper also suggests it's made in England, as Americans used more copper because they had more copper. Being English, not American, doesn't lessen its beauty. During the arts and crafts period, these elongated pieces, known as lappets, resembled trailing vines or leaves, capturing the essence of nature. The guest has two decorative and pretty cool chandeliers.
I would say at auction in today's market, you're looking at a value of about $5,000 a piece.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, it's just
unbelievable.
Collectors love.
This guest presented a carving that was inherited from her husband's grandfather. The carving was the work of famed carver John Haley Bellamy. Bellamy is one of the most renowned carvers of the 19th century and of the 20th century. He carved many objects, but this white eagle was his specialty, and it was commonly called the Bellamy Eagle. The carving had the words, "Remember the Maine," which is a slogan to commemorate the 266 crew members of the U.S. Marine battleship that died in an explosion in 1898. The piece was appraised in 1960 for $250. But in 2019, the Bellamy Eagle has become a collector's most prized possession, and it was now worth $35,000 to $45,000.
Wow.
Yes, it's just
unbelievable.
collectors love the Remember the Maine. It's one of his more popular sayings, so congratulations.
Thank you so much.
This exquisite Visalia saddle, dating back to the mid-1890s to 1900s, holds a fascinating history. It was gifted to the guest great-grandfather by Brigadier General John Coster, who mentored him. Every piece of this custom outfit is marked with a K for Coster, including the bit, the bridle, and more. The saddle features intricate silverwork, possibly done by Shaisling in San Francisco, and it's a testament to the finest California riding outfits. The spurs and bit, though their maker is unknown, are valued at $4,000 to $6,000 and $3,000 to $5,000 respectively. The saddle itself is estimated to be worth $8,000 to $10,000, with the martingale, a horse's neck strap, valued at $1,000. In total, the outfit could fetch anywhere from $16,000 to $25,000.
I think I crawled all over this thing as a kid.
This exquisite miniature painting depicts the guest's great-great-great-grandmother, Anne Worthington, and has been cherished in the family since the 1800s. It was painted by Anna Claypool Peel, a prominent figure in the Peel family dynasty of American painters. The painting, signed Anna Peel, 1823, showcases the Peel family's mastery of miniature painting, with incredibly fine details and a lustrous quality to the skin tones. Miniatures like this were often used as special keepsakes, painted on ivory using very fine brushes, sometimes framed in a locket-like silver frame. Despite being reframed, the painting retains its historical and artistic value. This cherished family heirloom holds an estimated value of $5,000 to $7,000.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not a great deal. It's not a great deal.
This guest brought the Christie poster to the auction. This poster features Christie Girl as one of the Red Cross nurses who were crucial in helping people during the 1918 flu epidemic. Howard Chandler was a famous American artist and illustrator of the early 19th century.
The thing about Christie's work is that he was so popular and his work was in such demand that when they printed these posters, they probably printed hundreds of thousands. These posters were distributed all across America.
As Christie Girl was a famous character of The Illustrator, her posters were quite popular in the era. However, the poster the guest brought wasn't in great shape. It had stains and creases. The appraiser estimated the worth of the poster to be around $600 to $900 at auction.
Wow. That is so exciting.
The guest inherited this painting of bluebonnets from her great-grandmother, dating back to the 1940s. The painter, Porfirio Salinas, gained fame for his bluebonnet paintings and even caught the attention of President Lyndon Johnson. Bluebonnet painters were in high demand in Texas, and during the 1920s, there was a Texas wildflower art competition held for 3 years. Salinas, a Mexican-American, achieved success despite lacking formal training. He painted various artworks, but the majority of his pieces, numbering in the thousands, predominantly featured the same style of bluebonnets. The appraiser estimates the auction value of the painting to be between $10,000 to $15,000 and suggests an insurance value as high as
$18,000. Wow. That is so exciting.
Oh my God. It's incredible. I had no idea.
The guest inherited a Roy Lichtenstein screen print from her late husband, who purchased it for $80.
The iridescent effect, it's kind of interesting. I looked up Lichtenstein and I saw that he did a lot of very large posters.
The piece is a screen print on mirrored colored Rolux, which gives it an optical effect. This specific print was made in 1966 and was part of an edition, and only one other example exists. Lichtenstein was renowned for his use of Ben-Day dots and his appropriation of comic book scenes. It exemplifies his endeavor towards originality. The print is signed in felt-tip pen and numbered from an edition of 70. The Guest print is one of the few surviving examples. Given its rarity and originality, the print commands a value of
For around $20,000. Oh my God. It's incredible. I had no idea.
A Guest brought a necklace and diamond ring to the show. She inherited it from her mother-in-law.
And I thought of the jewelry that my mother-in-law had in the safe. And you've probably seen it more than I've seen it in the whole time I've been in the family, and I've been in the family over 35 years.
The jewelries were made in China around 1920. They remained influential and cherished for its elegance and historical significance. The beads are rock crystal with beautiful little silver mounts. They are different in sizes and configuration of silver. The ring has a brilliant cut and Art Deco mount. Cultural shifts led to daring and innovative designs, worn as status symbols to display wealth and taste. Diamond rings symbolize love, and for necklaces, they had various meanings. The appraiser valued it to be
The beads are about $1,500 to $2,000 as a retail price. The diamond ring, a retail price on this, just for the stone, is probably about $28,000. And I think the mounting, if you had to sell the mounting separately, that is probably a $3,000 mount. So basically, you've got something retail that's in the $32,000 range.
Good grief. Thank you, my mother-in-law.
Thank you. Mother-in-laws, they're good.
And it's out of the safe, and it's going to stay.
The Guest came with the countertop spice box display. He purchased it for $10 or $30 from a store where he was a milk delivery boy. The first thing the appraiser noticed was how brilliant the color was. And then they would have the stencil decoration, panels here, the rooster and the hens and these ships. Those were done by a machine process called lithography.
And they would have done that probably before this piece was assembled on a flat piece of tin.
Lithography is a planographic method of printing originally based on the immensibility of oil and water. Want to taste some of the spices that have been in it for 65 years?
Probably not.
At auction, the price would probably be around $4,000 to $6,000.
Interesting. Let's see. If we work that out, let's call it $30. It worked out quite well.
On the 16th of August, 1886, local miners discovered gold in the Klondike region of Yukon. When this news reached Seattle and San Francisco the next year, 10,000 people stampeded to the Klondike in search of gold. This migration became known as the Klondike Gold Rush of 1898. This Guest great-great-granduncle was one of the hopefuls who made the journey for gold and fortune. The Guest presented his maps, a picture of his camp, and the diary he had kept while on this mission. He was not successful in his venture and died 2 years later from scurvy, which he got on this adventure. The hopeful adventurer may have not found gold, but he did leave behind a treasure that was worth $3,000 to $5,000 in 2007 and $4,000 to $6,000 in 2021. This exquisite piece of Murano glass holds a unique history. It was a gift to the Guest father from clients who appreciated his work. Acquired in the early 1970s, it has been a cherished display in the family home, despite the Guest preference for Asian and Chinese art. Identified as Veronese vase, it was crafted by the renowned glass-making company Capellan Vanini in Murano. The design inspired by a vessel in a painting by Italian painter Veronese.
It was first designed by Vittorio Zecchine in 1921, and he was the first director of the firm of Capellan Vanini.
This particular vase is a signature piece for Vanini, and it was showcased at the Autumn Salon in Paris in 1922 and produced between 1925 and 1935. Its authenticity as an earlier version is confirmed by the mark on the underside, indicating its origins in Murano. Characterized by slight imperfections and an earlier color scheme,
It's more of an earlier color. The later ones, most of them I think are smaller, and the colors are almost an opaline.
this Murano glass vase embodies the artistic legacy of Murano and is valued at $3,000 to $4,000.
That's great. Yeah, super.
The Guest brought a diamond and pendant necklace to the show, which she purchased in Paris for about $800. It was crafted by renowned jewelry artisans in prestigious workshops. It symbolizes elegance, luxury, and sophistication, worn as a status symbol. It features high-quality diamonds known for brilliance, and it also includes lustrous pearls, buccolati for added elegance. The appraiser values it
$8,000 to $12,000.
Oh, that is a nice piece.
The guest brought Gustav Baumann woodcut print to the show. He bought it at the rate of $95 in June of 1970. It was made by Gustav Baumann. Gustav Baumann's woodcut prints originated in the early 20th century American revival of woodcut printing. Baumann's prints are known for vibrant colors, intricate designs, and meticulous carving. He often depicted scenes of nature and everyday life with warmth and nostalgia. The painting had bold lines and rich colors through multiple layers. His prints served as illustrations in books, magazines, and advertisements, showcasing his talent and enhancing visual appeal. Additionally, they were collected as decorative artworks and artistic appreciation. The appraiser valued it to be,
at auction today, conservatively, I would expect this to sell for around $10,000.
Well, thank you
for bringing it
very
in.
much. Thank you, Todd. Thank you.
You're welcome.
a guest brought an archived ledger and small decorative objects to the show, which came to the family through their great-grandfather. Interestingly, it was a very poignant letter to his family. The ledger explains what he had given to his workers. The little decorative object attached shows how archival information was not a lot then. It's a fascinating document because it gives a picture of the Cheyenne Nation. The appraiser values it at
$400 to $600.
The exquisite cold air return cover, inherited by the guest, is believed to be from the Henry O. Havemeyer House in Brooklyn, New York, created by Tiffany Glass and Decorating Company in the early 1890s. The cover features chain mail decoration with light blue opalescent Tiffany glass, reflecting the luxurious palette of blue, green, silver, and gold used throughout the home's interior. After the Havemeyers passed away, their home was demolished in the 1930s, and many architectural elements, including this piece, were auctioned off. The rarity of this Tiffany artifact make it highly desirable among collectors, with an estimated value between $45,000 and $50,000 if sold in a retail shop.
Really?
Yes. Really?
Really?
Yes.
The guest brought the Federal Inlaid Mahogany Games table to the show. She inherited it from her great-aunt. It emerged during the Federal period in American history, between 1789 and 1823. As a magnificent piece of furniture, it displays a balance between functionality and aesthetics. It symbolized the elegance and refinement of the Federal period. The table was known for its versatility and functionality, with a flip open revealing a flat surface for games like chess, checkers, and backgammon. Interestingly, it provides convenient storage for game pieces and cards. The appraiser values it at
$3,000 to $5,000.
Wow. Oh my gosh, that's wonderful.
This Bible, printed in the Lakota language, holds a special place in the guest family history. Passed down from generation to generation, it represents a cherished connection to their Lakota heritage. The title Wataning Washday translates to good news, reflecting the significance of this religious text.
Yeah, there are not too many speakers of the Lakota or Dakota language. It is a religious text. It's Gospels and Psalms.
This Bible was published in New York City by the Bible Society around 1890. It's part of a series of Bibles in Native American languages. The rarity and pristine condition of this Bible makes it a fascinating and valuable piece, with an estimated insurance value of $500.
Oh, wow.
Cool. Yeah. So it does.
The guest inherited a beautiful vase from her grandmother, which came from a merchant ship that traveled to the Orient. The vase appears to have Asian origins, but it's actually made in America. While American Art Nouveau was primarily influenced by Europe, this unique example showcases the fascinating incorporation of Asian artistic elements. With unique rookwood marks, a signature, and was crafted in 1905, this piece holds a rich history within its beautiful design. It's an exquisite piece featuring beautiful birds against a salmon background. The vase has an X mark, meaning it's a seconded item, which lowers its value.
$2,000 to $3,000, maybe $2,500 to $3,500 at auction. Yeah. So it does.
The guests recalled their first significant purchase at the age of 13, and it was a lamp that they still cherish. The guests remembered paying approximately $250 for the lamp in 1983. The appraiser suggests that the lamp's shade likely originated from Bohemia, now known as the Czech Republic, with the base possibly made in Central Europe, Austria. Surprised by the revelation, the guest learned that the lamp was part of a pair, with the other being a mermaid.
Are you aware that he's one of a pair?
No.
There is a conventional pair to him.
Okay.
Very, very similar, but she is a mermaid.
Oh, all right.
The appraiser suggested a potential value for the lamp, estimating it could reach up to $1,000. Reacting humorously, the guest acknowledged the lamp's value, expressing satisfaction with the appraisal outcome.
Okay. Better than a certificate of deposit.
This beautiful picture was made by Thomas Fletcher in Philadelphia in 1830. The guest says it was an inherited piece from her great-grandmother, whose husband was from Philadelphia. The picture is believed to be a wedding present, and it was her mother's most prized possession. Thomas Fletcher was a popular American silversmith whose work appealed particularly to wealthy people. His company, Fletcher & Gardiner, made the most beautiful silver pieces between 1808 and 1842. These silver pieces can be found in museums like the Harvard Art Museum, Metropolitan Museum, and others. This picture is designed with beautiful neoclassical lines and an American eagle. It was perfect for use as a water pitcher for mint juleps. The appraiser estimated that it should be insured for $9,000.
All right, that's amazing.
This fascinating object, passed down from the guest grandfather, is a rare and symbolic jade carving. Crafted in China, it depicts a mythical creature called a qilin, a symbol of good luck and longevity. The intricate design incorporates cloud and lingzi shapes, further enhancing the positive connotations. Adding another layer of the figure, the carving resembles a stack of books, representing knowledge or a box of hidden treasures. While the carving style suggests it was made in past artistic eras, the use of yellow jade and broader strokes point towards its origin in the Republic period, which is pre-1949 in China, after the fall of the Ming Dynasty in 1911. Despite not being as finely detailed as older pieces, this unique qilin statue holds significant cultural and historical value. When it comes to the value of this item, for insurance purposes, it goes for
Somewhere around $40,000.
All right, that's amazing.
The guest came with a Daniel Gluck metal coffee table base. He purchased this table online for $100, then he went and picked it up. The guest purchased it in 2009 or 2010. He used it for about a year or two. This is by a California sculptor and furniture maker named Daniel Gluck. Daniel Gluck working in Los Angeles at Daniel Gluck Studios.
And this was created 1970 to 1975.
Interesting about Gluck is that he also worked as a set decorator in Hollywood. It's a piece of brutalist furniture. If its condition gets better, it can sell for as much as $12,000 to $13,000.
Okay. Wow.
Let's take a look at this incredible pot. In 1918, it was given to the guest's mother as a wedding gift from her paternal grandmother.
Well, I wasn't too sure if it was new in 1918, so I checked with Newcomb College, and they told me the Pottery Club of New Orleans probably made this between 1890 and 1895.
This pot was made in Baronne Street, New Orleans, and dates as far back as the late 1880s. Similar pots by the New Orleans Art Pottery have this sort of embossed work and this sort of claret-colored glaze, but this is pretty special for a lot of reasons. Number one, the artwork is excellent.
This is a hand-thrown pot. If we look inside of it, we could see the throwing rings. That's from when it was raised up on a wheel. Those are the potter's fingers, probably.
Those are the potter's fingers.
Joseph Myers threw this pot, and those are probably his finger ridges on the inside of it.
That means all this decoration is not molded.
That means that all this decoration is not molded. Somebody got each oak leaf and each branch and each acorn and carved it out.
And they're very exact.
This is a 5-color piece of pottery. All this bleeding around the edges were all hand-tooled. On lifting it, you can see that it says New Orleans, where it says Art Pottery Club in Barone Street. At auction, this piece would sell for,
I'm going to guess about $15,000, maybe $20,000 for this pot. It's really extraordinary.
Everybody said, don't you dare say wow.
Lovely. That's wonderful.
Well, I think the museum have no idea.
No.
This is an exquisite doll made by a famous German manufacturer. It belongs to Sydney Museum and was gifted in the early 1990s. The doll also comes with an interesting story.
She was presented to a young girl after the girl had presented a bouquet to the Princess Louis Battenberg.
Every doll has its story at the back of its head, just like this one.
Which is 1448 Simon and Halbig, the second biggest producer of doll's heads in Germany, based in Thuringia and operating from 1869 onwards.
This manufacturer produced a huge number of all sorts of dolls. It had such an exquisite expression.
This wistful look, you feel it's almost a portrait of somebody.
Yes.
It's a phenomenal piece, and at auction would sell for.
She would fetch between £10,000 and £15,000.
Lovely, lovely. That's wonderful.
Well, I think the museum have no idea.
No.
Guest came with the David Klein TWA posters. He acquired them from his father-in-law, Jim. Jim was an employee of TWA. They gave him a whole stack of posters of all the destinations that they flew. TWA began running jet planes sometime in the late 1950s. The guest uses them for patterns for some poster work he did. They're all by the same artist, David Klein. David Klein was one of the most prolific commercial poster designers of the 20th century. Some people refer to these as the emblematic images of the early jet age.
The most valuable one is the one that's closest to you. Now, the two in the middle are great destinations, and David Klein did several posters that featured fireworks.
Appraisal was set between $2,300 and $3,400.
Just unbelievable. They did make great material for overspray.
This grand chair had been around for a while now. It's been passed through the Guest family for generations, and her grandmother used to sit on it.
Very regally and hold her cane, and then as children, we all sat in it.
This is the Rococo style. The Rococo style developed in France, Italy, and Germany in the first half of the 18th century. It has organic designs. These leafage and flowers, cabochons, scrolling ornament has a wonderful sensuality. This chair, of course, was not made in the first half of the 18th century, but it was made probably right around the first few years of the 1900s.
And made in Chicago. You can see right here, there's a label, Carpet. So this is really Rococo Revival.
It's been upholstered about 5 times.
The original green upholstery is underneath, so it was originally, you'll see a lime green color.
At auction, this piece would sell for
worth right in the range of $2,500, maybe $2,700. It's in fairly good condition. Do you use it in your home?
Yes, I do. Now I can have it recovered.
Walter Anderson watercolor features one of his favorite subjects, the pelican, and showcases his unique style with visible pencil work, which collectors find intriguing. Walter Anderson was born in New Orleans around 1903. Anderson spent most of his life in Mississippi. He was a prolific painter and muralist, working in both oil and watercolor. The watercolor, dated 1965, was one of his last works before his death that year, and is signed with his monogram. Considering the piece's condition, history, and direct connection to shearwater pottery, despite this, Anderson's work remains rare and sought after, with a similar watercolor fetching around $11,000 at auction. Arkansas pottery, made in Camden, Arkansas, is estimated to date from around 1927 or 1928. The appraiser notes that the collectors of Arkansas pottery would find such pieces desirable. The auction estimate provided for its current value is fairly good.
Auction at about $1,000 to $1,500.
Wow, that's surprising.
The guest brought a folk art painting. She inherited it from her stepfather. The painting was done by Glenn Hale in 1924. His love for landscape was incredible, as he was a farmer. The bright color gave the painting a unique figure. The appraiser valued it to be,
I would estimate the value of this picture between $10,000 and $15,000.
Guest brought Rowlandson Caricature Portfolio to the show. He got it as a gift from a friend of his. It was created by Thomas Rowlandson and published in 1800. The Rowlandson Character Portfolio was a collection of satirical drawings. The portfolio consisted of 25 hand-colored prints. The drawings depicted contemporary British life. They satirized the upper and middle classes. The prints included the book club and a monument to Grub Street. The appraiser valued it to be,
This portfolio is worth about $35,000.
Pretty expensive. Thank you very much. That's very interesting.
Absolutely.
I learned a lot.
This guest and the appraiser were both Eagle Scouts. They both understood the sentimental value of the uniform. Eagle Scout is a prestigious rank among U.S. Boy Scouts, with only 4% of Scouts reaching it. Returning to the uniform, the guest collects scouting memorabilia and found this uniform in a mail auction. The appraiser pointed out additional items like old membership cards and washing instructions.
I wanted a world-class uniform, so I saw this in a mail auction, and I didn't really know what kind of condition it was going to be in.
The guest bought the uniform for $300 at auction. The appraiser valued the uniform and accompanying items at around $2,000, much to the guest's delight.
Fantastic.
The guest brought a cherished family heirloom, a homespun linen coverlet, to the show. The coverlet is an American-made piece of homespun linen, likely woven on a narrow loom due to the central seam. The dated inscription of 1796 makes it a particularly rare and early example of a textile, especially from the United States. The guest describes their grandfather always having them show off the coverlet to guests, highlighting its sentimental value. The coverlet is made of two halves sewn together and features charming figures next to a horse. While there is some staining, foxing, minor holes, and missing fringe, the appraiser believes restoration is possible. The appraiser mentions the difference between homespun linen and 19th century quilts or jacquard coverlets. Despite the condition issue, the appraiser sees restoration potential. The appraiser estimates the value of the coverlet to be in the range of $10,000 to $15,000, surprising the guest. This iconic image, a poster of the SS Normandy, is a symbol of 20th century art. Many recognize it, even if they're unsure why. Surprisingly, the owner's sister found this treasure in the trash in East Tennessee. She had several and graciously let the owner choose. SS Normandy is a famous ship from the 1930s Art Deco era. It's depicted in this poster. The artist, Cassandre, was a renowned French graphic designer known for creating posters. This Normandy poster was printed in 1935, and its value has been fetched upwards at auction multiple times. Highlighting its value and desirability among collectors, it could easily sell for $10,000. The owner is pleasantly surprised by the poster's worth and the story behind its discovery. A collection of porcelain trinkets, known as Geldenscheissens, has been passed down through generations, starting with the guest grandmother in 1905. These trinkets were traditionally given for good luck to people buying new homes in Germany. The guest collection includes pieces found by their mother and themselves. Most of these trinkets were made in the Dresden area of Germany around 1905.
The chamber pot was, at that time, an essential, everyday part of life. And it's not a pleasant thing to use.
Sold as inexpensive objects at state fairs and general stores. Each trinket features whimsical scenes related to the chamber pot, a common household item of the time, often adding a humorous touch to an otherwise mundane object. The individual pieces range from $25 to $75, making them a valuable and unique collection of antique trinkets. The collection's value is estimated to be between $700 and $900.
Very nice.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you very much.
The guest showcased a Civil War hat, image, and canteen, which belonged to her husband's great-grandfather, Thomas George Washington Jefferson. He served in the Civil War from New Haven, Connecticut. The guest recounted the significant family history related to the canteen. The appraiser discussed the uniqueness of the Confederate canteen, which was handmade. It had a wood body with an engraved date and location, along with the original cotton sling and tin roller buckle. The other item, The hat represented Thomas's membership in the Grand Army of the Republic.
In front of the hat, it has the GAR wreath.
The hat also had signs of wear. The value estimated for both items was
$6,000 to $6,500.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you very much.
This is an exquisite chest on chest, passed down through 4 generations from the owner's great-grandparents in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Crafted in the 1770s by the renowned Dunlap family of New Hampshire, it represents an exceptional example of their skilled craftsmanship. The Dunlaps were prominent cabinet makers around the time of the Revolutionary War, and their furniture pieces were highly sought after. The distinctive fan design, with its long lobes alternating with the little short lobes, is a definite Dunlap signature. This design element is seen on the top and bottom sections of this chest, creating a sense of balance and cohesion. The use of tiger maple, a favorite wood of the Dunlaps, adds a touch of luxury and warmth to the piece. Finally, rather than following the typical style of the time, which placed the bottom brasses slightly lower than the top ones, the Dunlap cabinet makers ensured that all the brasses aligned perfectly. It has its original brass hardware and classic Queen Anne legs. At auction, this piece is estimated to sell for
$80,000.
Really? Oh, how wonderful.
Gerald Ford's real name is Leslie Lynch King. These are letters he wrote to the guest mother, who was his cousin. This, and the 2 letters below it, were written when he was vice president, and all bear his signature. What makes this letter interesting is the reference to his decision to pardon former President Nixon. It's such an extraordinary item, and at auction would fetch.
The value of this letter was between $4,000 and $6,000. And these signatures are not to be ignored. They would run $800 to $1,000.